Sawadika, we're so happy that you could join us for this Tuesday, February 4th of 2014 edition of Newsline. I'm Sandra Hanut-Saha. In today's top stories, the Center for Maintaining Peace and Order reaffirms that re-election will be held within 180 days. And in business news, the Bank of Thailand said the majority of foreign investors have yet to withdraw their investments from the country. And now let's take a look at the headlines for today. The Election Commissioner EC has revealed that nearly 20.5 million eligible voters in 68 of the 77 provinces cast their ballots during the February 2nd election, while reiterating that the official results can only be released after the balloting is fully completed in all areas. EC Secretary General Puchong Nutrawong said the Commission had acknowledged reports from chiefs of the provincial electoral units concerning the voter turnout on Sunday. Out of about 44.6 million eligible voters across the country, almost 20.5 million came out to exercise their rights, accounting for 45.8%. Voting could take place in 68 provinces, while protesters successfully closed down polling booths in the other 9 provinces, namely Songkhla, Trang, Pathalung, Phuket, Phanga, Surat Thani, Ranong, Krabi, and Chumphon. The highest turnout was recorded in Lamphun province, with over 241,000 votes cast, or 72.8%, followed by Nong, Bolampu, and Bungkan. The southern province of Nakhon Si Thammarat saw the lowest turnout at merely 0.11%, while Bangkok posted a 26% turnout. However, the numbers of invalid ballots and no votes remain to be counted. Mr. Puchong reaffirmed that since the voting process was disrupted in many constituencies, both during the election day and the absentee voting on January 26th, the polls would need to be reorganized in those areas before any results could be made public. The EC Secretary General also expressed concerns over the recurrence of previous disruptions by protesters and the absence of MP candidates in some constituencies. He insisted that the Commission was working hard to find measures to solve the problems and allow the general election to be concluded. The Center for Maintaining Peace and Order, or CMPO, director reaffirms that re-election will be held within 180 days, but the reopening of government offices is to be postponed until February 6th of 2014. Police Captain Chalam Yuamrung, Minister of Labor, in his capacity as director of the Center for Maintaining Peace and Order, or CMPO, said the election on February 2nd demonstrated a democratic process. However, the number of House representatives was still short of at least 495, needed out of 500 for the House to begin any of its sessions. As a result, the EC needed to reorganize an election within 180 days to fill the vacancies. As soon as the EC decides on the election date, the police would be ready to help secure each polling station or even deliver ballot papers to electoral constituencies. Police Captain Chalam Yubamrung also stated that he noticed a number of election officials failed to carry out their duties during the election. The CMPO would therefore send a request to the EC to have these people prosecuted. In regard to the reopening of government offices, this would be postponed until February 6th, as protesters still remained around those government office sites. He gave his assurance that negotiation, not violent means, would be used to resolve the current problem. He also believed that the merging of People's Democratic Reform Committee, or PDRC, protest stages would help lessen incitement of violence. The Center for Maintaining Peace and Order, or CMPO, indicated that bullets were fired from both camps during Saturday's clash between the People's Democratic Reform Committee, or PDRC, and supporters of the election. CMPO committee member Tarit Pengdit said on Monday, thorough forensic inspection revealed that bullet trajectories originated from both camps and the police were gathering more evidence for the issuing of arrest warrants of the culprits. Police Lieutenant General Kamrop Banyakeo, Commissioner of the Forensic Police, explained that 42 bullet trajectories were found at the scene. 39 of the trajectories were of bullets fired from the PDRC camp's location toward the group of election supporters at the IT Square building. The other 3 trajectories originated from the location of the election supporters. A total of 25 bullets and bullet casings were found. The bullets were fired from 4 types of handguns and 3 types of rifles. Police Lieutenant General Kamrop indicated the 2 ski mask-wearing men seen on a video clip, a shooter and an assistant, clearly had tactical training. However, their identities could not yet be determined. The People's Democratic Reform Committee, or PDRC, on Monday surrounded the premises of a building being used to host the weekly cabinet meeting for 5 hours to pressure the cabinet ministers to cancel the meeting. PDRC leaders Putipong Punakan and Chumpon Julasai on Monday led the PDRC members to the office of the Defense Ministry Permanent Secretary in Mueang Thong Thani after learning that the cabinet ministers were meeting there. The group blocked off all entrances to Mueang Thong Thani and threatened to cut the water and power feeds to the building they were cordoning. The building was protected by riot policemen who stood their ground for 5 hours without incident. The PDRC group then withdrew from the area. Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra, also the Minister of Defense, said after the event that she would continue to come to work at the MOD Permanent Secretary's office. She added that there will not be a cabinet meeting at the building today, February 4th. Center for Maintaining Peace and Order, or CMPO Chief Advisor Surapong Tawichakchaikun said there were no plans to relocate the venue of cabinet meetings or the workplace of the Prime Minister. He added that the venue was under the emergency executive decree and that it would be necessary to strictly enforce the law if protesters revisited the venue and surrounded it in the future. Thailand is once again in the international headlines as many foreign press agencies have been reporting and assessing the current political situation. New York-based multinational nonprofit news agency Associated Press, or AP, and American daily newspaper Washington Post, or WP, have reported that it might take a while longer before Thailand can conclude the election results, given that a number of constituencies, mainly in the southern provinces of Thailand, were unable to hold an election, tossing up in the air the question of how or who will form the next government. Meanwhile, British national daily newspaper The Guardian interviewed a rice farmer in Phichit province who did not exercise his voting right on Sunday. According to the farmer, the reason why he did not cast his vote was that the government had not yet paid him for his rice registered under the government's rice pledging program. Qatari broadcaster Al Jazeera quoted an article of a critic saying the election that took place on Sunday could not solve the current crisis. Moreover, by looking at the number of Thais backing the Pheu Thai party, it is indicative that the majority of the people disagree with the idea of the People's Democratic Reform Committee, or PDRC. Rice growers gathered in Ratchaburi to protest the delay in payment of rice mortgage sealed off the Phekaseng Road section in the province on Monday, severely afflicting commute between the southern and central regions. The farmers who reportedly came from Nakhon Pathom, Kanchanaburi, Suphanburi, Samut Songkhram, Phetburi, Parajop Khiri Khan, and Ratchaburi blocked off both sides of the road. Those commuting to the south had to divert to another route via Phetburi, whereas those commuting to Bangkok had to use a road in Amphawa of Samut Songkhram instead. The highway police are putting up signs advising commuters about the detours. According to the protesting farmers, they will block Phekaseng Road until they are paid. In Pichit Province, another group of rice growers sealed off Pisanulok Nakhon Sawan Road in Bung Narang District on Monday. Don Mueang Airport advises all passengers to leave for the airport at least 3 hours prior to their flights because of heavy city traffic. The tollway is recommended as the best direct route to get to the airport due to several road blockades by anti-government rallies. Due to blockades by the People's Democratic Reform Committee, or PDRC, protesters in Bangkok and its surroundings, heavy traffic has been reported in many areas leading to Don Mueang Airport. Therefore, in order to avoid missing their flights, passengers are encouraged to arrive at the airport earlier than usual. Passengers are encouraged to use the tollway as it is the most convenient way to get to the airport and will most likely save a lot of time. For more information and assistance, passengers may contact Don Mueang Airport at 02-535-3861 or 02-535-1616 round the clock. The Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, is truly concerned over Thailand's political deadlock. According to ASEAN official messages to the government, the heads of state and governments of ASEAN member states have been closely following the current development in the Kingdom of Thailand. The ASEAN member countries wish to reiterate that political stability in the kingdom is essential to achieving a peaceful, stable, and prosperous ASEAN community, the message read. Thus, the governments of ASEAN nations are calling on all parties concerned to resolve the current situation through dialogue and consultations in a peaceful and democratic manner. And that's the end of our first segment. We now take a short break, but coming up next, Thai stocks hit one-week highs in light volume on Monday. Don't go away.
Open the world of information. Embrace public participation. Present Thainess to the world. New dimension of the government's public relations. The 80th anniversary of the Public Relations Department. Creative media for the society. Mobilizing Thailand towards the ASEAN community.
เมื่อมนุษย์ทำลายสมดุลทางธรรมชาติและมนุษย์ก็เป็นผู้ประสบภัยพิบัติจากธรรมชาติร่วมสร้างอนาคตลดภัยพิบัติระดมพลังพลิกฟื้นคืนผืนป่าในทุกชุมชนทั่วประเทศ
For those who have Android smartphones, you can download a PRD News application by searching for PRD News English in Play Store. That way, you can stay up to date with the latest happenings in Thailand.
Welcome back to Newsline. The Bank of Thailand, or BOT, stated despite the political impasse in Thailand, the majority of foreign investors have yet to withdraw their investments from the country. According to the governor of the Bank of Thailand, Parasan Trairat Boragun, he is optimistic that foreign investors will remain confident in Thailand, given the nation has neither a high inflation rate nor current account deficit, adding that the kingdom also has a flexible currency exchange system with strong financial institutes and sufficient financial reserves. However, if the political issue persists, several problems such as the rising cost of loans and logistics will ensue. The December 2013's Business Confidence Index was at 45.0, dropping from the 46.9 points reported in November. It is the sixth consecutive month that the index has declined and the lowest since the 2011 floods. The declining index was a direct result of the decreasing in both industrial and non-industrial sectors' confidence, evinced by the lower number of local and international purchase orders and falling in revenue, as well as higher cost of production. As anti-government protests continue, the tourism industry is taking the hardest hit. The projected 2 trillion baht revenue may not be possible because government policy is put on hold, while tourist concerns over safety are creating less confidence in the security level of the country. Vice President for Marketing at the Tourism Council of Thailand, or TCT, Pontip Hirangate, has raised concerns that the ongoing political turmoil may well create a negative impact in the tourism industry, resulting in the country missing the 2 trillion baht revenue target. The inability to carry out government policy and a decline in the number of tourists, especially from China, is affecting the growth of the industry. Furthermore, the Chinese government has recently implemented a law to control the quality of tours for its citizens, which means political instability in the country would engender a much lower confidence in visitor safety. The TCT estimates that tourism revenue will be lower by 10% this year. SMEs in the tourism sector will also feel an impact with less money in circulation. However, tourism destinations outside Bangkok will receive greater attention. The Kasikorn Research Center, or K-Research, has reported that the inflation rate in January increased to 1.93%, while projecting that the 2014 inflation will move in an average range of 2.2 to 2.6%. According to K-Research, the Consumer Price Index in January rose 0.42% from the month before, due mainly to higher food prices during Chinese New Year, particularly in the meat, poultry, seafood, and ready-to-eat food categories. Hikes in fuel and electricity prices also drove up the index. Although the overall January inflation is considered to remain at a low level, the headline inflation hit its 6-month high at 1.93%, while the core inflation edged up for the 4th consecutive month to 1.04%. K-Research forecasts that the headline inflation would reach 2% in the first quarter of this year and would average 2.2 to 2.6% for the whole year. The core inflation, meanwhile, is expected to move up to 1.3 to 1.7%. Nonetheless, the upward adjustments are unlikely to have impact on the monetary policies of the Bank of Thailand. Despite the acceptable inflation rate, the center believed household spending would remain sluggish throughout the year as a consequence of concerns over soaring household debt and product prices. According to the analysis of Kasikorn Research Center Company Limited, or K-Research, last week the Thai currency weakened further, closing at 33 baht against the U.S. dollar. The depreciation was attributed to concerns over the stability of new markets such as Argentina and Turkey at the beginning of the week, citing the pressure further reinforced by the U.S. Federal Reserve's announcement of decreasing the quantitative easing measures. Another major element contributing to the weakening baht was the months-long local political impasse, as investors were keeping a close watch during the period leading to the recently concluded general election. The baht was traded at 32.97 baht per dollar, comparing to 32.82 baht in the previous week. As for the outlook for this week, analysts at the center predicted the local currency would be traded within the range of 32.9 to 33.2 baht against the greenback. The post-election political situation would dictate the baht value, along with January's Purchasing Managers Index, or PMI, from foreign markets, the U.S. key economic figures, and the outcome of the European Union Central Bank's meeting on monetary policies. And Thai stocks hit one-week highs in light volume on Monday as short sellers bought back shares after the weekend poll passed without violence, while shares in Singapore fell to their lowest since November 2012 amid weakness in Asia. The key set index closed up 1.5% at 1,292.81, its highest level since January 24, led by a telecoms firm Advanced Info Service and Airports of Thailand, which was among recently battered tourism stocks. Singapore dropped 1.2% to 2,990.95, while MSCI's broadest index of Asia-Pacific shares outside Japan eased 0.4%. Indonesia and the Philippines ended down, with foreign investors selling a net $37 million and $806.6 and $17.8 million respectively. Thai underperformance lured domestic buyers, although the domestic risks pointed to near-term weakness, with data showing foreign investors selling shares worth a net 3 billion baht, while domestic institutions led buyers. Thai shares had fallen 12% in the 3 months to January, the region's worst performer, due to the protracted political crisis. CIMB Securities Thailand maintained its 2014 set index target at 1,500, based on a forward price-to-earnings multiple of 11, which was the market's last upcycle average. And before we take a break, let's have a look at the exchange rates and commodity prices.
Open the world of information. Embrace public participation. Present Thainess to the world. New dimension of the government's public relations. The 80th anniversary of the Public Relations Department. Creative media for the society. Mobilizing Thailand towards the ASEAN community.
เมื่อมนุษย์ทำลายสมดุลทางธรรมชาติแล้วมนุษย์ก็เป็นผู้ประสบภัยพิบัติจากธรรมชาติร่วมสร้างอนาคตลดภัยพิบัติระดมพลังพลิกฟื้นคืนผืนป่าในทุกชุมชนทั่วประเทศ
For those who have Android smartphones, you can download a PRD News application by searching for PRD News English in Play Store. That way, you can stay up to date with the latest happenings in Thailand.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline. Phuket is introducing new travel routes in the province with a focus on promoting cultural tourism. Biking trails will allow visitors to enjoy sightseeing surrounded by nature and to observe the local lifestyle. The Deputy Governor of Phuket Province has attended an opening ceremony to introduce bike trails in the Pan Hin district as the latest addition to the province's tourism industry. Phuket's Provincial Cultural Office joined hands with the Pan Hin District Authority in organizing the Cultural Tourism Project aimed at promoting tourism in the district and at boosting the local economy. The trail begins at Wang Lum Wityakan School, where bikers can learn more about religion, arts, and culture, then move on to the first stop to learn about water hyacinth weaving. The second stop focuses on biotechnology and agriculture, while the third stop allows visitors to learn more about Buddhism and its arts and cultural aspects at Phra Phutta Bat Khao Ruak Temple. The fourth cultural point is a Thai traditional medical learning center with the fifth spot showcasing basic self-sufficiency agriculture. The trail then proceeds to the sixth stop promoting the sufficiency economy concept before completing the natural trail bike ride at Hoi Ke Kasem Temple, where visitors learn more about the Thai Pon culture unique to Ban Pa Dang community. And that's it for today's edition of Newsline. For any comments or suggestions, please feel free to email them to us at newsline.nbt@gmail.com. And don't forget to check us out on thainews.prd.go.th/newsing. That's NEWSENG. We're going to say goodbye with a grand parade celebrating the Lunar New Year Festival in Nakhon Province. Have a great day. I'm Sandra Hanutsua. Hanusaha. Swadee ka.